What's up, everybody? We're live. It's Wrestling Uncensored. Tonight on the show, we recap Smackdown. Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Is Daniel Bryan going to AEW? A lot going on in pro wrestling. Let's do it. Yes, I'm Dave. There's Johnny. Hello, Johnny.
How's it going?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm all right. I feel like you misled people a bit there. You said Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, SummerSlam.
No?
He agreed to the match.
Oh.
I don't believe they ever said SummerSlam.
Okay. Well, because Cena said, what did Cena say? John Cena did a whole promo thing tonight on SmackDown. It opened the show, and he's challenging Roman. He challenged Roman. It seemed like he challenged Roman at Money in the Bank.
Well, he challenged him to a match as well.
Did it again on Raw.
Date.
Right, but then tonight he made it official, right? Cena comes in the ring to start off SmackDown, called Roman a lifeless egomaniac. Not a lot of pep to Roman's kind of promos, so, you know, that was all right.
Except
Cena
tonight.
mentioned, huh?
Except tonight, Roman's promo was fantastic tonight.
Was it? You're such a mark.
He said all the key points.
You're such a Roman.
He said exactly what I believe, what I've been saying.
What? You don't like missionary sex? What are you talking about?
That John Cena's been the same guy since 2005. It's been the same promo, same catchphrases all the time.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's been going on too long.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Zev.
That's not who that was. It's just a random
Oh.
sound effect. I think it was a space alien. So John Cena mentioned the big sports news out of Cleveland today. The fans were booing. I thought that was interesting. The Cleveland Indians baseball team is now the Cleveland Guardians baseball team. Well, they're in Cleveland, and it's the big news. No?
Yeah, it's big news, but like it didn't work. Like, wasn't a good idea for him to say that.
Well, I think maybe he was expecting the fans to be happy about it, but apparently Cleveland wrestling fans don't like that they changed the name of their local baseball team to make it a little bit more politically correct. Anyways, I thought that was an interesting point of the promo, probably the most interesting. Cena also said he changed his name today, his middle name to Guardians, so he can protect the small amount of respect the WWE has left, because SmackDown sucks with Roman as champion. You say Roman is saying a lot of the things that you're thinking. Cena in this promo said a lot of things I'm thinking. WWE has very little respect left. SmackDown sucks with Roman as champion. I was agreeing with John Cena. Then Paul Heyman came out and says Roman will show up later and give you his answer to the challenge, and it's on Roman's terms. And then he'll tell you that the tribal chief is here. And then Heyman sang John Cena's song. And nerds seemed to enjoy it. I'm sure you enjoyed it.
I thought Paul Heyman, again, one of the best promos in wrestling. Again, showed up. WB comedy usually doesn't work. Paul Heyman, again, shows he can do anything right.
I don't know. I mean, it was okay. I wasn't, like, blown away by... I saw people reacting to it online, like, oh, my God, Paul Heyman sang John Cena's song. What brilliant comedy from Paul Heyman. He's so entertaining. And I'm like, I fucking do that shit all the time when I talk about John Cena. Do-do-do-do. I do that shit all the time. He probably ripped it off from me. Like, I don't know. It's not a big deal. Everybody sings John Cena's song. It's like what people do when they're making fun of John Cena. I was not, like, blown away. Oh, Heyman. Such cutting-edge stuff. Never heard before. No one's ever done this before. But marks on the internet, you know, will be marks.
Well, there's a lot of things I don't think you liked on the internet this week, then.
Like what? What happened? Tell me.
Well, I guess.
Who am I going to
we'll
yell at now? Wait, let me give a shout out to the members. Brian Firth, shout out to Brian Firth. Douglas Hepburn, Shout out to Bryan, to Douglas Hepburn. They're wearing their Ringside Report hat, tees, and cups for the show. You guys aren't dorks. You guys are cool. You guys are cool. And other people. Franco316. Shout out to Franco. And wherever Patrick and Angelo are tonight, shout out to those guys too. Hit us up on Super Chat and support the show. Harold. Shout out to Harold. Gave me a Super Chat on Monday that totally bummed me out. But still, thank you, Harold.
Welcome.
Okay, so what happened on the internet?
I don't know about you, but just like it feels like since was it Wednesday or Tuesday, like just a bunch of negative stuff about Daniel Bryan. It feels like most people, at least my timeline, people have really turned on Daniel Bryan. I don't know for you if you've seen that so much, but like just because of the rumors of AEW, people are like, "Oh, Daniel Bryan, like like he wasn't that good in WWE to begin with. He's kind of washed up at this point." Like I keep seeing this all the time. Like
It's ridiculous.
it's like, wow, like he just possibly has signed with AEW, and now like so many people have turned against him. It's incredible.
Well, I don't know. Maybe those are the anti-AEW people. There's a lot of those, and I'm sure you follow those people. You follow that, the Cornette crowd, the anti-AEW crowd. You see that bullshit, the stupid idiots on the internet. I think they know more about wrestling than people that have dedicated their lives to pro wrestling. They've been wrestling fans for like 6 years, and they fucking read a lot of shit on the internet, and they think they're experts. Daniel Bryan is the best wrestler living today, has been since he debuted, and, this guy has been number one forever. You know me. I mean, look at my shirt. I'm a big Daniel Bryan fan. I'm the number one Daniel Bryan fan in the world. I mean, I don't see the negative Daniel Bryan stuff. I think you and I, our Twitter timelines are very different. I've just been seeing people excited about Kanye's album. That's mostly what I've been seeing on Twitter. And, a few things like Daniel Bryan signed to AEW, CM Punk signed to AEW, Brock Lesnar signed to AEW. I was like, what?
I didn't see that.
I saw that. That was a rumor going around. I think that was just a rumor. The Bryan thing seems done, which is crazy. Like, Bryan is debuting for AEW at some point in September. And CM Punk is like
22nd.
Well, yeah, that's the word, but like who knows? Who knows if that's really going to happen? And if it is going to happen, September 22nd, Arthur Ashe Stadium, New York City, open air stadium. Tickets still available. I looked at tickets. I could get a ticket for like $51 way up in the rafters. I'm thinking about it. For Daniel Bryan's AEW debut, like, for me, man, that's the kind of thing I would go see.
They boosted the capacity, too. Apparently, it's up to like over 18,000 now.
Will be fun. I'm double vaxxed, too, so I should be all right. Could be. We'll see. But Daniel Bryan, to me, is the best wrestler in the world, and it makes all the sense in the world that he would go to AEW. It's the most fun wrestling company right now. AEW is going to treat him with respect. AEW is going to give him some creative freedom. There's a ton of guys that he hasn't wrestled there. He's going to be able to go wrestle in Impact or New Japan Pro Wrestling or wherever the hell he wants with AEW. It seemed to me like the logical choice for Daniel Bryan. The only thing that was kind of the hindrance, I thought, was maybe his wife because of the Bella Twins association with the WWE and all of that stuff. And, of course, his mother-in-law, the Bella's mother, she's married to John Laurinaitis, who's like a big executive with WWE. So, By the way, the leaks that Daniel Bryan has signed with AEW, not coming from AEW. Why would they leak that? It's coming from WWE. It's probably Johnny Ace himself. If you think about it, like who would have the inside track and who would benefit from leaking that? I bet you it's Johnny Ace. Kathy was talking. Quit talking, Kathy Bella.
Hey, you ever heard have you talked to Bree? You know what Bryan's doing? Vince really, he wants to know. If I could get the inside track, that'd be great.
Well,
Johnny Ace
remember they
impression
talked
coming
about,
through, John. I don't do that very often. Sorry, go ahead.
you do it every now and then.
Every now
But he's
and
not
then I
around that
pull it
much.
out.
It's hard.
It's me, Johnny Ace. People power.
You still remember.
Never forget.
Remember they were talking about like the Bellas coming back at SummerSlam? That seems to have just died, and clearly doesn't seem like it's going to happen whatsoever. So
Wonder why.
that seems to be another telling sign. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. I told Vince, and he said, Johnny, you piece of shit. You tell those Bella twins they're not welcome. Cena's back. Bryan's leaving. Fuck that. That's what I told Kathy. She was pissed. Everybody yells at me.
I imagine
Well-
John Laurinaitis just abused everywhere. Kathy Bella just yelling at him. Johnny, get a good deal for my girls. Vince McMahon, Johnny, you piece of shit. Like everywhere he goes, he's just getting shit on. Poor Johnny. Ace. Johnny Ace.
I think the Bellas will be okay. I think they made a lot of money over the years. They
The
have
Bellas
their
will
own
be
company
fine.
now, so-
They're gonna dance with the stars. Twin dancing. Fucking great. They're gonna go to AEW. Shit. Vince is gonna be so mad. He's gonna kill me. Last time he shat in my bag, I had to pretend it was funny. What are you gonna do? Fucking Vince. Such a ribber. I hate him. I want to kill him. Please help me.
It's that money. Yeah.
What are you, Baron Corbin?
I was going to try to tie it in right there.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh. What the fuck are we talking about? Daniel Bryan going to AEW. It makes total sense to me, man. It makes total sense. Like, yes, WWE wasn't doing shit with him. You know? I mean, he main evented WrestleMania, but it was clear, like, he kind of got lucky in the way that they slid him in there, and I think they were doing it in the hopes that he may re-sign with the company, showing him, like, hey, we got big plans for you. And apparently when
Right.
WWE was negotiating with New Japan, it was really to get Daniel Bryan over there and in WWE, and it was like a talent exchange for Daniel Bryan because Bryan really wanted to go work in Japan. Which, like, with his concussion issues, I don't know if that's necessarily the best idea, but hey, his life, his brain, let him fight if he wants to. Japan is rough, though. It's a very tough style. New Japan Pro Wrestling is the most demanding pro wrestling style in ring in the world. But he'd have some great matches there. Daniel Bryan versus Kazuchika Okada? Yes, please. Sign me up. Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega? Yup. Daniel Bryan, if given the creative freedom... Sorry, I'm going to stop calling him Daniel Bryan because we don't have to fucking do that anymore. Bryan Danielson, if given the creative freedom, is the best. I don't think there's anybody better. He's the closest thing to Bret the Hitman Hart that I've seen since Bret Hart. As far as my favorite wrestlers of all time, I think it's Bret and Bryan. Like, they're the two best as far as I'm concerned. The two greatest of all time in my mind. And I'm very excited to see what he does in AEW. Bryan Danielson is a once-in-a-generation talent. You could put your AJ Styles and your Kenny Omegas and your CM Punks and all those guys. Daniel Bryan stands above those guys. And I don't give a shit what any nerds on Johnny North's fucking Twitter timeline say. They are fucking wrong, and I am fucking right. And if you don't believe me, well, go fuck yourself. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Wow.
If you're not down with that, go fuck yourself. If you don't think Daniel Bryan is the best wrestler in the world, you could suck an egg, all right? You could suck an egg, a dick, a rock, and my ass. Everything. Bryan is the best. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what anybody thinks. Never have, never will. Bryan Danielson is number one. I've been saying it forever, and I will say it until he stops wrestling. He's the best. By far.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you. He's the best wrestler AEW can pick up without question. I just find, though, that in terms of reaction, I think CM Punk's going to get a bigger reaction than him, though. Because I think a lot of people really want to see CM Punk wrestle again. It's been so long. Or Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, it was a couple months ago.
Yeah. But I'm more excited to see his matchups in AEW. He's going to get the freedom to be the best version of himself. And when he's allowed to do his thing, sky is the limit. Promos in the ring, there's nobody better. Nobody better. And yeah, CM Punk is exciting, but honestly, I've been seeing a lot more negativity about Punk than I have about Bryan. People are kind of over CM Punk. CM Punk, he was a huge star when he left WWE. I think he was at his peak. I mean, maybe not his peak. The peak was probably around the pipe bomb era, but still, when he left WWE, he was a hot commodity. He was such a hot commodity that the UFC decided to give him a fight contract without a single amateur professional fight to his record. They signed him to a lucrative fight contract for a guy who couldn't fight. I mean, we found out he couldn't fight for shit, right? That's how big of a star CM Punk is. UFC doesn't do that to just about anybody. That was a big deal because Punk was a big deal. But the CM Punk of today, no one gives a shit. He's a different guy. He's the momentum that he had when he left WWE, the momentum that he had when he did that podcast with Colt Cabana, the momentum that he had even going into his first UFC fight. But after we saw him fight, and after we saw him fight again, I think he lost significant momentum. After all the negative talk about CM Punk over the years from his fellow wrestlers saying, oh, he's kind of a dick, he doesn't seem to like the wrestling business anymore, he doesn't give a shit about his old friends, a lot of that stuff, I think negatively impacts the opinion of people on CM Punk. People liked when CM Punk was on WWE TV shouting out Colt Cabana. Now CM Punk is like a third-rate MMA color commentator, and he doesn't like Colt Cabana anymore. By the way, how's that going to work in AEW? That's the match to make, to me. Colt versus Punk, that to me is the number one match you do for Punk in AEW. Kenny, maybe, But
Kenny's one of his dream matches.
Yeah, well, good for Punk. But I feel like Punk is just not... He's not the guy he was. And I see Bob Burgers saying he respects his athletic abilities a lot more after going into the UFC. And he also says he's 1-1 in MMA. That is incorrect. He's 1-1 in MMA. He's not 1-1. He doesn't have a win. He has 2 losses, one of them that got turned into a no contest 4 years later because the guy was smoking weed before the fight. That is ridiculous. CM Punk is 0-2. Got completely obliterated in MMA, and I think it took a lot of his shine away from pro wrestling. When you see a world champion in MMA or in pro wrestling be so shitty in real life fighting, it's kind of like, oh man, you are nowhere near the guy we thought you were. We thought maybe you were close, but you're nowhere near that guy. 0-2. I'm not super excited to see Punk. Promo-wise, okay, I don't know what he can really say. Punk's best work when he was raging against the Machine. When he was in the machine of the WWE. Nowadays, you don't really want to see CM Punk go on AEW and cut a promo about WWE and how much he hates it there. He's not even going to do that. I don't really know what he's going to do, quite honestly. What does he do? What's the gimmick? Punk... His best work, like I said, was revolutionary Punk. Evil Punk. The Punk with Heyman was pretty good, He's a good heel, but I'm not sure if CM Punk is going to be a huge success for AEW. I think it'll work right off the bat. It'll get a big pop, but past that, I don't know. I don't know how much passion he has for wrestling. I don't know what his body's like. He hasn't wrestled in so long. We know Daniel Bryan can still go. He worked Mania this year with Roman and Edge, and he killed it. Daniel Bryan is still one of the top wrestlers in the game today. Is CM Punk anywhere near what he used to be, in 2013 when he last wrestled? Like, I don't know. I don't know if Punk is the guy. And to me, I mean, I've always said it. I even said it when CM Punk was calling himself best in the world. And everybody agreed with him. And I said on this show, Wrestling Uncensored, yeah, he's best in the world. Except for Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan at the time. I'm always a Bryan Danielson guy, and I always am going to think that he's better than CM Punk and whoever, and I think there's way more upside with Bryan Danielson to AEW than CM Punk. I think right off the bat, the reaction might be bigger for Punk, but in a year or two, Bryan Danielson is going to pay off way more.
Possibly. I mean, I think they'll both pay off just in different kind of ways. I think with Daniel Bryan, you'll probably get, superior matches, but in terms of gaining a new audience, I think CM Punk can bring in some fans that have been turned off by wrestling, because CM Punk got people into wrestling again in 2011. I think people would be interested, at least give it a shot, to be like, what's he going to do now?
Did he bring that many people back? Ratings were decent. I don't know if he's a draw. I especially am not sure. I mean, you're talking about 2011, man. That's 10 years ago. Is he a draw in 2021? I'm not sure. I am not sure. Douglas Hepburn dropping a super chat says, Dave, when you were away, I checked out your older shows and interviews. Good stuff. Well, thank you, Doug. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for supporting the team. Daniel Bryan apparently has signed or is very close to signing the deal with AEW. CM Punk, too. Huge signings for AEW. Like, of the free agents in pro wrestling, they don't get bigger than that. They're the two biggest fish out there, and AEW looks like they've signed them. That's not good for WWE.
No, instead they get Braun Strowman. I mean, they really got the short end of that one.
Is that what they're countering with? WWE gets CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and possibly Brock Lesnar. Like, there are rumors out there which, WWE couldn't get Brock for SummerSlam. They wanted Brock and Bobby, okay? And the plan probably was Brock versus Bobby. Brock loses to Bobby. Brock's just there for one shot, gets paid to put Bobby over. Brock sees the writing on the wall. I'm just a guy that's going to be brought in to put people over now. I don't know if Brock wants to be a guy who just comes and loses. Maybe AEW's got a different offer for him. Brock is always willing to listen to money. Money talks. Brock is willing to play whoever against WWE, and if they offer a better deal, I wouldn't be surprised to see Brock Lesnar take that deal. The fact that WWE couldn't get Brock for SummerSlam shows you that something went awry in the negotiations with Brock Lesnar. The fact that they had to go with Plan B, shitty-ass Oldberg, fucking Goldberg, looks like your friend's dad, fucking who works out a little too much at the gym, fucking Goldberg, piece of shit, retired Bret Hart, can't fucking kick, thinks he's a kickboxer, has a fucking 0-0 record. CM Punk could probably beat his fucking ass. That piece of shit, Bill Goldberg, WWE brings that guy back. Pathetic. They couldn't get Brock. Shows you something went wrong there. I did a whole rant on Bill Goldberg. I don't want to go on and on about Bill Goldberg, but, he fucking sucks, He's terrible. I think he's the worst. I think he's one of the worst wrestlers that's ever been in pro wrestling. I hate that the WWE keeps going back to him. He sucks. Big time.
Well, you're not getting Brock. You just have to live with that.
I'd rather watch Nick Gage kill somebody in front of 25 people in a parking lot somewhere than watch Bill Goldberg wrestle one more match.
Why? Like, I wasn't impressed by Nick Gage, but whatever. I guess some people like him.
I'd rather watch fucking Hornswoggle fuck a donkey over Goldberg in any wrestling match. I mean, fucking take your pick.
You really don't like him, but I mean that's a weird thing to say. But regardless,
I mean, Hornswoggle fucking a donkey would be crazy. You'd be like, what is happening right now? Why? Why did
I wouldn't want
AEW
to
do
watch
this
that.
to the main event? What a weird main event, AEW. It's the Hornswoggle donkey match. Oh, shit. Exploding barbed wire. It didn't explode. Shit. The donkey got scared, though. Hornswoggle got trampled. Terrible scene. I mean, AEW's going for the fucking most right now. Nick Gage versus Chris Jericho? What? I'm legit scared for Chris Jericho. Also, isn't Zack Ryder wrestling Nick Gage like tomorrow? That's going to be crazy.
For him, I mean, I don't know about you. I'm not going to watch it, so
No.
not
Me
really
neither.
worried about it whatsoever.
I watched Nick Gage and Chris Jericho on Dynamite next week, though. What? Weren't you surprised when they brought that out? Like, that shocked the wrestling world. And you talk about a guy who's hot, a guy who's got some momentum right now, and people are talking about him. There was a dark side of the ring, and, you know, people seem to really like this guy. He's not my style of wrestler, but he's got a name, and he's got a following, and AEW's like, fuck it, let's capitalize. Let's bring him in to have a fucking hardcore match with Jericho on TV. What's that going to be like? This fucking toothless wonder shows up with a fucking pizza cutter, threatening Jericho with a pizza cutter. And what's with this guy's teeth? How come he's got, like, weird teeth? Does he have some teeth longer than others? I didn't know you could have teeth with that much discrepancy in length. He's got one tooth that looks like a fucking spike and another tooth looks like a nub. Like, what's happening with his gums? I don't think Nick Gage has ever been to a dentist, man. Maybe AEW can, like, pay for some dental work and, like, help him out a little bit. It can't be fun to live like that. Also, it looks really bad. It looks like shit, man. Like, it looks kind of... I mean, I guess it adds to the gimmick, but you look like... I think you'd be more handsome with better teeth, Nick Gage. Like, if your smile was, like, a little... You know? Not a bad-looking guy. Why's he got to look like that with the teeth? What's with those teeth? Not enough people are talking about Nick Gage's teeth. Everybody's worried about what he does to cut people and all that shit. You see this guy's mouth? Horrific. That's a fucking death match in itself. Good God. Roman Reigns is like the other way. Roman Reigns got these big, shiny, fake teeth. Nick Gage is like no teeth. And he's going to wrestle Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's family's got to be worried about him. Like, good God. What? Nick Gage isn't an AEW guy. What's he going to do? He's going to kill this fucking Jericho. Fuck.
I don't think he will. It's just, I don't have a lot of respect for Nick Gage when he's the kind of guy where, you ask, don't stab me, and then he stabs, David Arquette. So I don't have a lot of respect for a guy you can't trust.
Apparently Arquette might be working on that. Like, that might not even be real. Arquette said, don't stab me, and then Arquette is saying that he told Nick Gage not to stab him the way he did, and then Nick Gage did it anyways, and he's malicious, and Nick Gage kind of like, I don't know, like the story, I've heard that like maybe Arquette is embellishing a little bit for sympathy or for a work or an angle or whatever, and maybe Nick Gage wasn't trying to kill David Arquette, but it did seem like he's kind of trying to kill David Arquette. He doesn't seem safe in the ring, right? He doesn't seem safe, but he is he's a worker, right? He's a pro wrestler, so he knows, like, he can't kill Chris Jericho on TV, but does he know that he can't kill Chris Jericho on TV? Like, one part of me thinks, he knows he can't kill Jericho, right? But then the other part of me thinks, this guy's gimmick might not be fully a gimmick. And that's what's interesting about this guy, is that, like, guys like us are kind of marking out for him because we think he's legit crazy and he legitimately might stab Jericho to death in the middle of the ring on AEW Dynamite. Right? Like, we're falling into the trap. And that's part of the appeal of this guy. It teeters on reality so closely that you can't quite tell what the fuck is real and what isn't. It's interesting. You got to give him that, man. It's interesting. Like, are you not concerned for Jericho on Wednesday night?
Well, the same thing with Arquette, and I think I tweeted this to Arquette. I mean, you put yourself in that position. I mean, you got to realize who you're dealing with here. a guy you can't really trust. So I mean, you put your life in his hands. It's kind of your own fault in a sense. You have to take a bit of responsibility for that. And I'm sure Chris Jericho realizes that. Like, if he's going to go to war, he's going to bring some hell with him, and that's why he kind of changed his gimmick up a bit for that match. Makes sense. It's just, again, though, Nick Gage, like, he's the kind of guy that's like, well, I got to get my stuff in, so it doesn't matter what you say or think. I'm just going to do my stuff anyways. That's the problem I have a problem with. Like, I just, if the guy's just going to do his own little thing, then there's no point really having a match. I mean, it's pretty much just a shoot then.
How far does he go into business for himself on this thing? Because it does seem like he does that. It does seem like he's not that trustworthy. But, he's not that trustworthy with some fucking guy you've never heard of in a parking lot in front of 150 people.
Right.
Is he going to be that same guy when there's all the lights and cameras on him and here's Chris Jericho in the ring? But it's kind of tailor-made for him to be that guy because, like, this is a one-shot deal. He does some crazy shit to Jericho. His name just builds, right? And we're also expecting, I mean, it's a Nick Gage match, so there's going to be some crazy shit, right?
Right. They'll play into it probably, but I think it might be more of a work. They might realize that what we're thinking is that he's shoot crazy, so they'll play that into the storyline possibly and make it look like Jericho was shot on in a sense, but wasn't actually shot on.
Yeah.
I can see something like that going down. That makes sense. It's good business for both parties if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, we thought this Labors of MJF was just going to be the Pinnacle guys thrown at Jericho one week after another in some gimmick matches. First week was Shawn Spears with like a chairs match where Shawn could only use the chair. Jericho winds up beating him. And then you think, oh, okay, next week it'll be, Wardlow. Ooh. But no, it's Nick Gage. Which makes you think, like...
Could change.
Could the fifth labor be Brock Lesnar?
Well, no, like, isn't the last one supposed to be MJF, right?
Okay,
so
well, whatever. Like, if they're bringing in people for a one-shot, Brock would make sense. Like, it went from Shawn Spears, like, kind of at a 1 to Nick Gage at, like, a 9. Like, all of a sudden, like, whoa, shit. This Labors of Jericho MJF thing was kind of like, wah, wah, who cares? And then they announced Nick Gage, and even me, who's not a Nick Gage fan, I'm like, well, I got to see this shit. What's going to happen here, So they really fucking up the ante. How do they up the ante even more? I mean, Brock Lesnar would be up in the ante in a major way, I think it would be great if Jericho went through this thing and right at the end, the last labor or whatever, he loses. And it's like, yep, you don't get to face MJF now. You went through this shit and, maybe you have to do some other shit and you'll get to MJF or you'll do something to MJF where he'll want to wrestle you, for some reason. I think it would be interesting if Jericho didn't win at the end of all that. But who knows? He's got to beat Nick Gage at least, though, right? How's that going to work?
Well, he'll beat him somehow, some way.
I wonder. I'm very interested in what happens there on Dynamite on Wednesday. I'm not even sure what else they've announced for Dynamite, and I don't even give a shit. That Nick Gage-Chris Jericho match is the be-all and end-all. That's crazy shit, right? What else are they doing? Who cares?
Well, I think they're doing that Elite versus Hangman Dark Order match, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
That too? Damn. AEW is so good. WWE is so bad. What's happening? Why?
Well, it wasn't that bad tonight. I mean, had some highs, it had some lows.
I guess. But, like, compared to Dynamite this week, Dynamite this week was crazy. That Lance Archer-John Moxley match was good. And Lance Archer won, beat Moxley, new IWGP US champion. That was a big surprise.
Yep.
That was a good Dynamite this week. Like, really good.
It was good. I just feel like they're kind of overdoing it, though, with the hardcore matches, like every main event now. Like,
yeah,
it feels like almost every main event has to be a hardcore match. And, like, it's fine, but I don't think you can keep that up though, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, they're going to up the ante with Nick Gage, right? You want to talk about hardcore matches?
Well,
You're going to make it crazy.
Is that going to be the main event too? That's wow.
I mean, it should. It should be, unless
I don't
the
know.
Elite versus Dark Order is. I guess Elite
Right.
Dark Order. I could see Elite Dark
tough.
Order opening the show, though. Elite
Right.
usually opens
it
the
could go
show.
either way.
You know, they usually open the show with the Bucks.
Well, Jericho opened the show this week, so
There you go. And I mean, anytime Chavo as a surprise, like, new member of the AEW roster as Andrade's manager, anytime that's just like an afterthought, you had a pretty good show. When Chavito is an afterthought, I mean, I was hyped to see Chavo. Ooh, Chavo. Dun, 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 dun. Love that guy. Big Chavo fan.
yeah, I like Chavo. I don't know if he's going to be wrestling that much though in AEW.
No, I don't think he'll wrestle very much, if at all. When's Big Show going to wrestle? I thought he was going to wrestle.
Well, I think he's just going to do commentating for a while. For now, I mean, I think he's going to wrestle one day, but just timing, I guess, has to be everything.
Pretty terrible signing. He's done nothing for AEW. He's on a show nobody watches as a commentator. Terrible.
Well, he gets paid though. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well, no, I mean, he's getting paid, but what's AEW really get out of it? Like, are they getting the bang for their buck with Big Show? As a Big Show fan, I've barely seen him on AEW, so it's kind of like, what's the point? Bob Cote asking a question. He says, are there too many ex-WWE wrestlers in AEW now? And that is a question that a lot of people are asking these days. Antoinette, shout out to Antoinette. She's excited to see Bryan Danielson and CM Punk on AEW. I am too. I don't think there are too many ex-WWE wrestlers in AEW. It's just the nature of the beast. WWE had so many people under their roster over the years. Most people have been in the WWE system. Kenny Omega was in WWE developmental. It's like everybody at one point or another has been with the WWE or around the WWE. And, if you're a star in pro wrestling, it makes sense that you're coming from the WWE. I don't think AEW's overdoing it. I think they're picking and choosing the right ones. I didn't think Braun Strowman was a good fit. Doesn't look like he's going to sign. I thought Daniel Bryan would have been great there. CM Punk make a lot of sense. Miro made a lot of sense. Andrade makes a lot of sense. Aleister Black is still, I'm on the fence with that guy because the promos have been a little weird, but, he made sense because you could see he's got a lot of upside. There's a lot of people WWE have that they just don't do enough with, and you could tell that there's something going on with a lot of these wrestlers. They're good. They have talent. You just don't get to see it. So I think it makes sense for AEW to sign these people. And where else are you going to get wrestlers? You want to beef up your roster. Where else are you going to get people? They don't have a developmental system. Do we really want to watch Nick Camarado and Lee Johnson all day? I mean, what do you want?
Well, I was just going to really mention that. Like, they're... that's interesting.
All right. Go ahead. What were you saying?
All right. Okay. Well, just like you're talking about guys that they haven't really established yet. This is kind of why they bring in guys that are already established to help build up their new stars. So you kind of need a little bit of a mix of that. So it kind of makes sense to do this.
Yep. And they're good. As long as you're bringing in talented wrestlers, I don't think it really matters where they're from. Right? As long as they're good. Like, I mean, I don't want to disrespect anybody, but, WWE didn't bring in, AEW didn't bring in No Way Jose when he was released.
Right.
When I watched No Way Jose in the ring, I wasn't blown away and thinking, God, if WWE only gave him more, there might be something there. I thought, okay, this guy's got a little gimmick, he's in shape. Right? It's Not like they're signing anybody and everybody. They're signing select talents that they know are talented. So.
Well, it also helps if, like, Jericho knows them, Mark Henry or someone, someone within AEW. Kind of helps if you know somebody, It helps a lot in wrestling.
Yeah. Smackdown? Finn Balor. Let's talk about Finn. Yeah, that show that we saw tonight. Finn beat Sami Zayn after a coup de grace in the opening match.
Pretty standard match.
Yeah, it was like very basic, right? Felt like, why even have it? It's kind of weird. Not particularly good. Not bad, but just
good bumping.
I mean, nothing really happened. Thank you, Harold. Thank you for the donation, Harold. Respect.
I thought the bumps were good, though. I mean, the match was simple, but they try to make all the little bumps, like, really important. You saw Sammy. To me, it seemed like he tried to make all Finn's stuff look really good, because this match was pretty much to help build Finn, because he's going right for the champion right now. So does that kind of help build him up quick?
The Finn Balor showcase tonight. So John Cena challenged Roman Reigns at the top of the show. Finn Balor then beat Sami Zayn. Then at the end of the show, Roman Reigns cuts this big, long promo telling everybody to acknowledge him, the fans, the people at home, everybody in the world, the aliens, people that live under the earth, that Bo Dallas believes in, the underground mole people that Bray Wyatt, I think, has conspiracy theories about, all sorts of weird shit. Seriously, I think Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas believe in underground mole people, which do not exist. I imagine they haven't. Wow. I would bet that Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt haven't been vaccinated against COVID. That would be my guess. The more conspiracy-minded tend to not get the shots, right? That's been my experience. The people that are more into the conspiracy theories are the people most likely to not get the shot.
Well, that's going to be rough for some people, because if you go to some arenas now, you have to be vaccinated. So
if you're a performer,
for Bray Wyatt, I think it's just to enter the building, period. So
I think if you're a performer, there's exceptions. I think to buy a ticket, but I think if you're a performer, you can kind of do what you want. I'm not sure. So Roman cuts his promo. I don't know why we're talking about shots and stuff. There's Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas.
Private Party.
They have a lot of conspiracy theories. Private Party?
Their song. Shots.
Oh, my God.
Shots.
Sing it, John. Sing it for us. Go ahead.
That's all it is.
Oh, okay. I think there's a little more rhythm to it, but...
Not too bad.
All right. Jeez. So Roman Reigns cuts an in-ring promo. He tells everybody, acknowledge me, acknowledge me. John Cena has acknowledged me. Why won't you acknowledge me? And then Roman says Cena does the same stuff all the time. It's the same old Cena. It's like doing missionary all the time, every single night. Nobody wants that. That's what Roman was saying. I was a little surprised Roman went there. I was like, why is Roman talking about what sexual positions that he likes?
PG show. Wow.
Yeah, I was like, it was a little weird. I was like, all right, Roman? Roman does not like missionary sex, all right? You better get on top of him in some way, or bend over, or other things that you may think of. I don't know. I can't think of that many different, maybe standing up, I guess. Roman's a pretty big guy. I'm sure he's like one of those muscle guys who like lifts the lady and like has sex with them while standing up. Seems like unnecessary work to me. Why stand when you can sit or lie down or something? You know what I mean? Ridiculous. I think you're
overthinking this.
I think anybody who picks up a woman to have sex with her and stands up with them, it's just way too performative and it's nonsense. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think anybody's really enjoying that. I think it's just like, oh, look what I can do. Look how strong I am. But that's really, you're just like showing how strong you are. You do just like lift weights in front of her. Ridiculous. Doggy style for the big dog. Yeah, exactly. Roman got really Bob Cote says, buy Dave the book of Kama Sutra. No, I'm good. There are several different positions, millions of ways to have sex relations. And if you do it like missionary style, Roman Reigns will be pissed. The head of the table wants you to give him head under the table. I think he likes that. I think he's into that. Harold Schneider dropping the chat, dropping the donation via Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you, Harold. Big respect. Yay. I don't know. It's just weird.
There's more to it.
It's just weird because now I'm thinking about Roman Reigns fucking. You know, Roman Reigns starts talking about, no missionary sex. And I'm like, I bet you Roman is one of those dudes who picks up his woman and he's like this, you know, standing up like that. And then when he's done, when he comes, he goes, hoo-ah! Every time.
Again, you put a lot of thought to this. Like, way too much thought than his one-liner was meant to give, I think.
Okay.
Right. I get it.
Well, it's what
Anyways,
he does.
he said more than
he's
just
charging
one
up
line.
the Superman
Yes.
punch. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
Superman punch.
So does Orange Cassidy.
Hoo-ah!
Does the same thing.
What?
Orange Cassidy does the same thing, doesn't he?
Yeah, but his is like not as cool. Because he's small. Not like Roman, who's the big dog. Anyways, so Roman talked about how much he hates missionary sex, and he equated that to John Cena for some reason. And then he says no to John Cena's challenge for SummerSlam. So then Finn Balor shows up, and he's like, hey, what about me? And Roman's like, all right, cool, I accept.
You're not excited? You don't care?
No? Am I supposed to? This
I think
guy,
it could be a good match.
Roman Reigns, should have said, hey, aren't you that guy who just got his ass beat by that guy in NXT who can't even beat Jeff Hardy? Aren't you that guy? You want to challenge me? Get the fuck out of here, man. Who are you? Isn't Finn the guy who lost to Karrion Kross, who sucks so bad that he loses his debut match to Jeff Hardy on Raw? Jeff Hardy, who's a total jabroni, who could barely beat Elias? Pardon me? Now you're Finn Balor, a guy who basically sucks worse than Elias. You're going to come challenge Roman Reigns? How does that make sense on the totem pole, on the pecking order? This motherfucker's so low on the pecking order, he's in NXT. He's going to come challenge the big dog? Just because you beat Sami Zayn. Everybody beats Sami Zayn. Literally, everybody beats Sami Zayn. Even Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, who loses all of his matches, he still manages to beat Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn loses to everybody. So Finn Balor beating him should not give him a title shot. Finn Balor lost his NXT title to that Cross guy who sucks because he lost to Jeff Hardy, who also sucks.
Well, what you fail to realize is that they've kind of destroyed like NXT history when it comes to like the main roster show. Like even Charlotte's title reigns in NXT don't count anymore. So whatever happens in NXT doesn't affect the main shows anymore. So Finn
What about
left
what happens
Raw.
on the main shows? Does that affect NXT?
I don't know, possibly.
I don't know. Fuck it. Who fucking cares? Because I heard they did that Cross guy showed up back in NXT. That guy's an NXT champion, built like a monster, debuts on Raw, loses to Jeff Hardy, comes back on NXT, and they're chanting Jeff Hardy at him, and then they had to like reshoot a segment because it looked terrible. Because they're trying to ignore that he lost to Jeff Hardy while he's on NXT. They're like, no. This isn't the same man that was on it and Raw. Didn't you see that man? He didn't have a lady with him. The guy in NXT, he's got that lady Scarlett with him. Not on Raw. He showed up alone like a loser. That's a different guy. Ignore that man. Yes, he has the same name. Yes, he was wearing the NXT title. But did he have Scarlett? No. So he's not the same guy. Like, what? WWE's so fucking stupid. So, yeah, Finn Balor showing up is like, huh?
They kind of just try to make it seem like NXT is its own little thing. It's like almost like a separate promotion from WWE, the way they're trying to build it seems. Which is ridiculous, I know, but that's the way they're trying to sell this, I guess.
I am part of the conspiracy against Sami Zayn, Mako. You're right. I'm deeply part of the conspiracy against Sami Zayn. I'm one of the main members. But I can't talk about what we're planning. But we're going to make sure he never wins that Intercontinental Championship again. God damn it. Apollo Crews will stay champion forever. That is our goal. It's a Nigerian conspiracy. Me and a bunch of Nigerian guys.
Go out challengers now.
No, fuck those guys. Who, Dolph Ziggler? How come we didn't have a 6-man there? That was weird, right? Didn't that seem like a 6-man? Anyways, before we get to that, Finn Balor challenging Roman Reigns accepting. It's still going to be Cena and Roman in SummerSlam, and Finn and Roman will just wrestle on Smackdown, right?
Possibly next week.
So how is Roman going to finally accept Cena's challenge? No, don't answer that. I don't give a shit. I mean, they'll get to it some way, somehow. I don't know. You want to give me an answer? Give me an answer. I just don't care. Like, yeah, Roman and Cena will wrestle at SummerSlam. Cena challenged Roman. Roman said no. Does anybody buy it? Like, okay, match is off then. I guess Cena came back for nothing. Like, what do they think we're thinking when we watch that? Do they think that, now I guess Roman's going to wrestle Finn? See, what's Cena going to do? Like, do they really believe that we're buying that shit?
Well, Cena's going to say the line that's going to get in the title match, the line that you know always works to get what you want.
Coward. No balls.
There you go.
Roman, you talked about doing missionary. Well, you must be shooting blanks because you have no balls.
It writes itself.
I mean, it does if it sucks. It's very easy to write if it sucks like that. No balls. Oh, my God. You said I have no testicles? It's so crazy. How about I show them to you, and then we could just kind of end it? Anyways. I want to talk about Baron Corbin because that shit was funny, but we'll get to it later.
Sad more than funny.
Big E cuts an in-ring promo, fans chanting "You deserve it" to him after he won the Money in the Bank. That was a nice little moment for Big E. Yep. Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz show up. Apollo laughs at Big E. He's like, "Oh, you won a contract, but I actually have a title, and I won it from you at WrestleMania. Don't forget, Big E. Don't forget." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's how you got the title. I forgot." And then Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode show up, and I think they got cheered because Dolph is from Cleveland, right?
Michael Cole called them the tag champs.
Did he? Aren't the Usos tag champs?
I think Michael Cole was like drunk tonight. He got a couple of things off. I don't know where his head was at, but
yeah, Sammy clearly did a Blue Thunder Bomb at one point. Michael Cole called it a Michinoku driver, and I was like, I don't think that was a Michinoku driver. And then he was like, that was a combination Blue Thunder Bomb Michinoku driver. He tried to like save it, and then McAfee was like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong there, Michael Cole. McAfee's annoying, though. He's just annoying. When I hear him, he makes little references, and I'm just like, you're annoying. I don't like you, Pat McAfee. He bothers me. There's something about him that I just don't like. He's irritating. He's not my kind of guy. You know, I think that really is what it boils down to. I think he's an irritating shit. I don't like him.
Problem is, like, WWE doesn't have a lot of good commentators, so he kind of stands out for being different. So I think a lot of people are starting to like him.
They should have hired Ron Funches instead to do this job. Or fucking Wale. Put Wale there instead of Pat McAfee. Wale seems to like wrestling enough. Put him in there. Why don't they use him more?
To be there every week, though?
Why not?
I don't see that happening.
He doesn't have a big rap career. He really doesn't.
Well,
the only time I ever hear of him is when he's doing wrestling stuff. He's basically a WWE like mascot guy. Come on. Let's be real. Like he came out at that Rolling Loud thing, Wale, to like introduce the Street Profits. Nobody knew who the fuck he was. Everybody's like, who are you? Oh, you rapped? You have like a song like 5 years ago, 7 years ago? No one knows who you are, man. No one knows who he is. I'm telling you. The crowd looked confused.
Well, that crowd looked dead there.
Yeah, because, well, I'll talk about that in a second. I'll tell you why they're dead. I'd be dead too. Who gives a shit about that stupid Smackdown? But well, I mean, it was dumb. The matches there were just like dumb, and the crowd was. It wasn't for them. It was for TV. It was stupid. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode showed up. They want to talk about the Intercontinental title for some reason, and then King Shit and Shinsuke Nakamura, he shows up, and I guess he wants an IC title shot. And Cesaro shows up, and he's like, I want a shot too. And then everybody brawls, and it's like Ziggler and Rude and Apollo versus Big E and Shinsuke and Cesaro. And Big E, Shinsuke, and Cesaro stand tall. So I think, okay, we're going to go to commercial. We're going to come back. We're going to be a 6-man tag match, playa. And then that was it. We didn't have that. I guess next week? I don't know.
Well, it's because they had that festival. There was 2 matches there, so I think that took away a lot of time.
So why do the promo with all those guys? To establish, like, these are the guys for the IC title?
Multi-man maybe at SummerSlam.
Huh. I guess 6-man match at SummerSlam for the IC title. Whatever. Who among those people should be Intercontinental Champion? Cesaro?
Oh, I keep it on Apollo.
Yeah? I did just say Apollo forever. Holds that title forever. Rolling Loud. It's a big music festival. All sorts of people are performing. There's rumors that Kanye might perform, you know? All sorts of cool shit is happening there. I think Travis Scott is performing. Let me give you...
The stage collapsed.
Yeah, there was a stage that collapsed. But they are still rolling loud. Let's see what the festival lineup is. Who is headlining tonight? These people are not here to see pro wrestling. They are here to see A$AP Rocky. Oh, yeah, and Michael Cole called him ASAP Rocky, which is hilarious. It just shows how out of touch Michael Cole is. Johnny, you know who A$AP Rocky is, right?
I think I may have heard the name once. That's about it.
Well, he's headlining tonight. Also, Rick Ross was about to play. That's another thing. Like, this show is in Miami. Rick Ross is from Miami, and he was about to play after this SmackDown shit. If you're ever at a festival, it's long. You want the headliners to hit the stage. You don't want to wait around. This SmackDown set must have taken forever to build. If I was sitting there and I wanted to see Rick Ross and A$AP Rocky and Playboy Cardi and Trippie Redd and 21 Savage and Lil Baby, I'd be pissed if I had to sit through a fucking Angelo Dawkins Chad Gable match that was up in a ring on an already elevated stage that you couldn't even see and you didn't give a shit about. Wale introduces these people. I felt so bad for the wrestlers. They had to walk out and act like people gave a shit, and no one gave a shit. You could see the crowd just standing there like this. No reaction.
So accurate.
Like, where's Travis Scott?
I think there may have been 2 or 3 golf claps.
Yeah, it was weak. But, of course, it sounded like the Thunderdome because they have that fucking piped-in sound. It was horrible. It was horrible. Horrible. And I couldn't take my eyes off the dead crowd. I couldn't watch these stupid matches, and the matches were pointless. Angelo Dawkins beat Chad Gable by pinfall after like a spine buster, and then Bianca Belair comes out, and she's spinning her hair, and she's smiling. She's on the stage, and everybody's looking at her like this. Who are you? Just shows you how unpopular pro wrestling is. You got like 100,000 young people out there. They don't know who anybody is. They don't give a shit about WWE. WWE's for old guys, by the way. We're old guys, and we're the only guys watching this. Old people watch WWE. If you're over 35, you're watching WWE. Because we got nothing else to do on a Friday night. We're old. We're tired. What are we going to do? Or we got
And
kids,
kids.
kids and obligations, and we're not going out. Where are we gonna go? There's nowhere to go. And sit home and watch Smackdown on a Friday night. That's not, the deal with 20-year-old kids. They're out there partying. They're at the Rolling Loud Festival, and they don't know who the fuck Bianca Belair is. And good for them. I wish I didn't know who Bianca Belair was. My life might be a little bit more interesting than it is right now. Sitting at home watching fucking Smackdown on a Friday night like a bum. I'm ashamed of myself.
Wow.
Not as ashamed as Baron Corbin is. That motherfucker is shame. I want him to become like a bum. Just like he gets bummier and bummier, and eventually he just lives in a trash can, and he's Baron Corbin the Grouch. He's like Oscar the Grouch. He lives in a garbage can. He smells bad. There's maybe like CGI dust clouds around him wherever he goes. He's just like filthy man Baron Corbin. I want him to get progressively dirtier and like grungier as time goes on till he's just like unrecognizable. It seems to be happening a bit. He's interviewed backstage. He says the crowdfunding website he started last week went terribly wrong. He winds up losing money on the deal. The guy he paid to make the website disappears on him and then also stole his identity. So Baron Corbin has no more credit, and he has no credit cards, and he has nothing. And he had to ride the bus to the arena, and it was horrible. Johnny North, I have not been on a bus since the pandemic started because I don't want to be around other human beings ever again. You ride the bus. Tell us how terrible it truly is.
It's not that bad, really. I mean, it's pretty calm and relaxing, to be honest.
There you go. It's nice. Baron Corbin didn't like it, though. What did you think of his depiction of the bus? Also, he's taking a plane to Cleveland and then taking a city bus from the airport to the arena? Like, what is the story? Why is he on a bus? Nobody on the roster wants to give him a ride? Poor Baron.
Yeah, there's holes to his story. A lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense. I feel like they were trying to make this story make sense, and by doing so, they made it worse by him losing like everything. So if you lost everything, then yeah, how can you travel? Period. How are you spilling spaghetti sauce when apparently you don't have any money whatsoever? Like, kind of doesn't make a lot of sense right there.
Okay, that made no sense for a couple of reasons, John. I mean, he's got no money, so he said, okay, so Baron Corbin later on in the show, you're skipping ahead, John, to the spaghetti incident. All right, that's a big deal, okay? Because Baron Corbin at the first promo, he's got a white shirt on, no red stain. Last week he had
there was a stain.
Was there a stain at the first time? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't notice a stain in the first promo. Last week he had like a mustard stain. This week it looked like ketchup, right? And then Baron Corbin is backstage with Kevin Owens, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Kevin Owens, for being such a jerk for so long. I'm just really down on my luck. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And Kevin Owens is like, why you got that stain on his shirt? And he's like, oh, it's from spaghetti from a can. So it's cheap spaghetti. He's eating canned spaghetti. It's not like luxury spaghetti. Even though, like, I don't think there's any such thing as luxury spaghetti. I make spaghetti with spaghetti sauce. It's like pretty cheap meal, man. You get some beef, you get some. Well, I'm not going to give my whole recipe out there, but let me tell you, you can eat for a long time, and it's not very expensive.
You can make it expensive, though.
Yeah, nice meat sauce, get some spaghettini. You're doing good, baby. I'm getting hungry. Want some spaghetti. All this Baron Corbin talk. So Corbin, I'm wondering why he didn't wait to eat catering at the arena. Like, why is he eating canned spaghetti? They have catering for WWE, and if you're a wrestler, like, there's food there. It's pretty good. And you could, like, take some of it and go on the road. I've heard a lot of the wrestlers, like they take a to-go plate of catering with them on their road. They do it. Why can't Corbin do that?
Again, you're pointing out the holes to all the story that they're trying to put together. I mean, you do that, you'll completely destroy the storyline completely, so it's not going to work. I just feel bad that Kevin had to feel sorry for Baron, because, like, to me, he's too pathetic, and you actually want him to have bad things happen to him. Like to me, it was a good thing that they shot him with the tank, that they stole his money afterwards. It's like, yes, you deserve that. Like Kevin shouldn't defend him whatsoever.
Why is Kevin Owens nice now? So Kevin Owens gives Baron Corbin $60 because he feels bad for him, and then Shotzi and Tegan, who are having fun on their little tank, they shoot him with like a Nerf thing. He falls to the ground. Ziggler and Rude are right there to steal his money because they're schoolyard bullies now. I don't know. And then Kevin Owens gets a steel chair somehow, and he's like, "Hey, you get out of here, you kids!" And Ziggler and Rude are like, "Oh, let's get out of here!" Like, it was so cartoonish and horrible. And I guess Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin are like now a makeshift tag team because Kevin feels bad for him and gives him money. What? What was any of that? It was, not particularly good, but it was interesting. It was an interesting turn of events. Kevin Owens just giving Corbin $60. Like, poor bastard. American dollars, too. And Kevin knows those are worth more.
It felt like a roller coaster of emotions, but it didn't make a lot of sense. It's like they're trying to make you feel like, oh, he's pathetic. You want to feel sad for him in the end. You want to feel like Kevin's the hero, but it's like it all feels like misplaced. Because like you said, it all feels so cartoonish. It all just feels ridiculous. So it's hard to really feel for this when it just comes off as bad.
Yep. I didn't feel any kind of roller coaster of emotions. It's pretty bad. I didn't like it.
I just felt like this was just bad start to finish, but I think they try to make you feel different things. It just didn't work.
It's always weird when members of their roster do the gimmick where it's like, I have no money. It's like, you are a WWE wrestler, though, and you're on TV. Like, you have money, right? How did this happen? Like, I guess he's saying he overspent, but
how did you get
still,
to the show?
Yeah, how did all this happen? It's strange. It's a strange gimmick for Baron Corbin. Edge cuts an in-ring promo talking about Seth Rollins, how Seth cost him the match at Money in the Bank, and Edge says that, he's capable of evil things. He learned from the most evil minds in the business. Don't forget, he was in the Brood and the Ministry of Darkness. Edge invoking the name of the Ministry of Darkness. When's the last time somebody dropped Ministry of Darkness in a promo on WWE TV? Doesn't happen very often.
I was impressed that the fans knew what he was talking about, or it sounded like they knew what he was talking about.
Attitude Era, man. They've made so many documentaries about it, everybody knows.
I think most of the fans there weren't even born when those groups were around, so it's kind of crazy.
Are you not paying attention, John? Smackdown is for old people. It's a Friday night. We're all old. We were alive in the 90s. We remember this shit like it was yesterday. We're old. It's not young people in the crowd, John. It's 40-year-old men. Okay? It's a bunch of 40 and 50-year-old men that bring their children or their grandchildren to see what entertainment was like in the good old days before we packed arenas to watch 14-year-old Korean kids play video games. That's what entertainment is now. They don't have to be Korean. They seem to be good at video games, Koreans. You see a lot of those Korean teams seem to be doing well at those games. A lot of white kids, too. I don't really know. Because I don't watch those video game fucking shows. Because, who cares? I don't want to watch people play video games. But that's what kids like to do. They'd rather watch people play video games than watch people pretend to fight. What's wrong with kids?
Hobbies. Things change over time.
Anyways, Seth Rollins came out, and he cut a pretty good promo about Grandpa Edge, which is pretty funny, calling Edge Grandpa. Edge is old. He's not that old, though. I mean, he's not a grandfather. His daughters are pretty young. But, making fun of Edge.
Seth, not so much, Like he calls him grandpa, but like compared to Seth, it's like, yeah, you're not that old. Like Triple H, yes, like, you could say that, but
What do you
Edge, no,
mean?
not really.
What do you mean? Triple H and Edge are like roughly the same age, aren't they?
Wasn't Triple H like 50? 51 or something like that?
Edge is 47.
Right.
Triple H is like, I don't know, maybe a bit older than him, but yeah, he's 51. It's 4 years, man. It's not a huge difference.
I think because you look at Triple H, how he used to be to now, it feels like he truly has aged. Where Edge, it feels like he's got a brand new body almost.
Franco wants me to play Mario Kart on Twitch. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't want to watch people play video games, but apparently people want to see me play video games. So I might actually start doing that. I might actually start playing video games on the internet, and like maybe people will watch me, and maybe I will do that. But maybe I won't. I don't know.
I asked for golf, but whatever.
Oh, you want me to play Mario Golf? I have been getting a lot better at that. A lot better. So maybe I'm ready to play online and show you my skills. I got a hole-in-one. Hole-in-one, baby. My first one. It was pretty exciting.
Cool.
Anyways, I like this Seth Rollins character, man. I thought the promo that Seth cut was pretty good. The laughing, maniacal Seth Rollins. This new version of Seth Rollins, promo-wise, is the best version of Seth Rollins as far as I'm concerned. I like this Seth. I'm not excited for Edge versus Seth at SummerSlam. I think, whatever. But I like the promo that Seth cut. I was actually watching Seth cut a promo, and I was entertained the whole way through, which I don't know if it's ever happened before. So it was actually good. I like new Seth. I like flamboyant suit Seth. This is it. This is the ticket. Forget about the Messiah. Forget about the Architects. Forget about all that shit. Flamboyant suit Seth is the way forward for Seth Rollins. This is the gimmick that's going to turn him into a superstar of pro wrestling. This is the gimmick that's going to make it all work and make him the top guy in WWE. I think this is it. I really do. This is me who shits on Seth Rollins promos forever. I've never liked him. In the ring, he's good. On the microphone, not so much. But tonight, this version of Seth, this maniacal laughing version, has been growing on me. Tonight, he got the chance to really go and talk for a long period of time. It wasn't a backstage. It was an in-ring promo, face-to-face with his opponent. I thought he knocked it out of the park. Killed it. Knocked it out of the park is a baseball reference. Baseball is a sport that old guys watch like pro wrestling. For you kids out there who are watching me because you accidentally clicked on me on YouTube, baseball is an old-timey sport. You got to ask your dad. And wrestling, too. It's a thing. They do it in the ring, and they pretend to fight. And there's fireworks. It's pretty fun. Check it out. Trying to appeal to the kids, John.
Well, good luck with that. But I'll agree with you on the Seth Rollins promo. I thought it was pretty good too. And I think a big problem with Seth over the years is just that he's been forced down our throats too much. Like, even though he had bad promos, it didn't matter. He still got the 20-minute promos to start Raw every week. And it didn't matter that he was bad at it. We still got it every week. So I think we probably built up resentment over that over the years. And, regardless that he's a good wrestler, you just couldn't get over the fact that the character was just pushed too much, that we didn't really appreciate him that much. But now it feels like he's starting to come into his own a bit. I mean, he's had a lot of years to practice this and get better at his promos, and I think he's finally found a character that's more suited to him. I mean, I think he's just more natural as a jerk. It just works better. So
yeah. It seems more natural. It really does. Toni Storm makes her SmackDown debut against Zelina Vega and beats her in 2 minutes. Basically a squash. Zelina Vega was rehired by the WWE so that the WWE could make an example out of Zelina Vega.
Well, I don't know what you thought about this match, but I just felt there was no rhyme or reason to it. It was just a bunch of moves back and forth, and it just felt like the moves were good, but there wasn't really much of a story to it. And the match just suddenly ends and it's over, and that's it. I mean, I guess it's okay for Toni Storm to get a match like that, but to me, it didn't show that she was like overly impressive.
Wasn't a great debut, and still, Zelina is just getting jobbed out. Has she won since she came back?
I don't believe so, no.
It's not good. She's getting paid. She took the money. But, she's getting jobbed out.
It's like I told you before. I mean, the fact that she's the smallest on the roster, unless she's going to have some backup, it's hard to believe that she can actually beat anybody.
Franco asking a good question. Does she still have her Twitch channel?
Well, if she does, WWE, I'm sure, has a hand in it, so.
I don't know. I could check. I think she does. Check right now for you, Franco. Let's see. I'm on it. Seems like she broadcast. I don't know. I don't know if she's broadcast since she re-signed with WWE. Seems like her last video was like 17 days ago.
Oh, no, I think it's possible.
I don't know.
But if she stopped, like, you got to understand, I mean, they gave her money. They paid her not to do it, so I can understand that.
Right. They paid her to stop criticizing them on Twitter, to stop having a Twitch channel, and to lose on TV.
It's okay to be part of the job squad.
I guess. Hey, man, it's a job. It's a well-paying job. And people need to get paid and make money. So, good for her, I suppose. A lot of people willing to sell their souls to the devil to make $1. Not saying that's what Zelina did, but that is what Zelina did. Jimmy Uso beat Dominic Mysterio with help from Jey Uso. Jey Uso pushing Jimmy to help him get the leverage on the cover. Jimmy Uso, of course, needing help to beat Dominic Mysterio. Why would anybody need help to beat Dominic Mysterio? I wouldn't need help beating up Dominic Mysterio. Easy work. But, yeah. So that happened. That sucked. I didn't care about that. The Mysterios and the Usos continue to feud. Apparently, WWE going to be doing some live events over the next few weeks. And it'll be John Cena with the Mysterios versus Roman Reigns and the Usos. That's going to be the house show match. Cena working house shows.
Well, it's good for him. 6-man tags. You know, you keep it limited. Just have him do the comeback or something like that. Or the opening couple seconds. That's probably the best way to use him. It was a decent match for Dominic. Like, some moments weren't that good with the kicks. It felt like none of the kicks ever connected, but maybe that's not completely on him. That might be also on Jimmy. But I thought, again, it was a good showing for him. Again, like, he's only had a couple of matches in front of a live audience, so I thought he did pretty well. And for the main event of SmackDown, I thought he did okay. It's disappointing that was the main event of SmackDown, but for Dominic, for his, like, overall growth, I thought that was a good step forward.
Not a good main event for SmackDown. And, like, what was the match of the night tonight? I don't think anything was good. I don't think we had a single good match. I guess Finn and Sammy was the best, but that was so basic. Was there a good match on the show tonight?
It was the first match because, I mean, maybe it was simple, but it was still the best thing we saw.
So simple. Like, if you put that match on Dynamite this week, it's not even in the top 3.
Well, tonight was about promos. It wasn't about the wrestling tonight.
Yeah. Cena promo, Seth and Edge promo, Roman promo, Finn there, Corbin promos. A lot of promos. Big E kind of doing. I mean, he barely talked, right? It was basically like Big E comes out, says a couple things. Apollo and Aziz come out, say a couple things. Ziggler and Rude come out, say like a line. Shinsuke comes out, didn't speak. Cesaro came out, said a line. They brawled, and then that was their night. That was barely a promo. That was like nothing. But, you know, not much going on there. You know what the craziest thing I saw today was? This.
What?
Look at that. You'll be able to buy that at some point. You know who that is? Dominic. They're making a Dominic action figure. What? Comes with a kendo stick and everything. Oh, they make action figures out of absolutely everybody. But they're making Dominic his own action figure. I was like, really? And then I pre-ordered it. I was like, yes, I need 5 of these. Johnny needs one. We all need one. Dominic toys. I really think I might pre-order one. I think I'm going to order one. Should I order one?
I mean, you like collecting, so I understand for your collection. It makes sense, but yeah, I would never get that.
Somebody hit me up on Super Chat so I could afford to buy this Dominic Mysterio action figure.
A pre-order, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Because unlike Zelina Vega, I did not get a deal by the WWE. I saw somebody tweet it out. Very nice. Our buddy Nick Patterson said I should be on The Bump, the WWE show The Bump. I think it'd be a little too bumpy if I was on. Too much of a bumpy ride.
Yep.
I don't know if you heard my Goldberg rant I did earlier this week. I don't think The Bump will be too happy with that. Fuck The Bump!
Well, as long as you tone down the language, I think it'll be fine. You be a bit more pro WWE, and you'll be fine.
Oh, you mean sell my soul and fucking lie to people? Fake your way through it? Pretend like I like the product just to make a buck?
That's what they do.
That's what who does? That's not what I do. Believe me, I've been in media for fucking long enough. I've seen a lot of these fucking phony people out there, and I know that I don't want to be one of them. A lot of these people fucking fake as fuck, make me sick. I'm not gonna, that's not what we do here. We tell it like it is. Whether you fucking like it or not, I'm gonna tell you how I feel honestly. I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. You might not agree with it all the time, but I'm not gonna bullshit you. And I don't give a fuck what anybody pays me. I'm not going to bullshit you. I don't bullshit anybody. And that's why, people don't like it sometimes. Because there's no bullshit. And I won't let you slide your bullshit past me. No bullshit.
Yeah, they may not like you on The Bump then.
No, I mean, I don't, it would be cool and all, but, like, I can't imagine. So, what do you think about Goldberg against Bobby Lashley? I hope Lashley kills Goldberg in the ring. Okay, bye. What are you going to do? You know what I mean?
I think some people actually say, though, that Goldberg, like, it's been overdone kind of thing. I feel like some people have said that in WWE.
Yeah, well, they should keep saying it because it's way overdone. Way overdone. And even the Cena thing, it's kind of like, eh.
Well, the problem is it's the not anything after SummerSlam, so that's the hard part to really get behind anything, where it's like, well, this ends at SummerSlam, so it's hard to get involved or interested whatsoever.
Yeah. The Canadians drafted a possible sex offender. Seems on par with the brand. Makes sense.
I haven't seen it. I don't know what you're talking about. I'll check it later.
He won't be the first sex offender to skate for the Montreal Canadiens, I'll tell you that much. It's a long history of sex offenders working for that company, or that fucking hockey team. Live in this city fucking long enough, you hear stories about guys getting away with all sorts of fucked up shit. Hey! Did I say that, John? Sorry. Don't mean to offend you. I mean, it's true. You know, I'm not going to say people. Who, but, you know, I mean, sex offenders, you know.
They don't last.
They drafted a kid who sent naked photos of women that he hooked up with. He seems like a piece of shit. Seems like a real piece of shit, this Logan Malou guy. Fuck him. I hope he breaks his leg. And he never plays hockey. How about that?
Super chat.
If he's got a problem with that, maybe I'll break his leg for him. Come see me, Logan Malou. Go fuck yourself. You can't fucking take pictures of people without their consent. That's fucking horrible. That's how to get you on the sex offenders list. What a dick. Somebody should rip on his, you know? Maybe pull it off so he doesn't have that problem anymore. A lot of guys out there need some humbling, Johnny North. A lot of guys out there don't know how to act. All sorts of people. All sorts of people out there need humbling, need to be taught lessons on how to behave, how to act like a proper fucking human being. Don't be a sex offender.
Is there a person in general you're talking about here that you've interacted with recently or something? Or
no.
Okay.
Doug Hepburn says Ted Teven was born in Kingston, Ontario. Yes, he was. Rest in peace to Ted and to his son, Jay, who passed away this week. Sad news. Of course, Doug is from Kingston, Ontario. Shout out to Doug. Shout out to Doug. You are the super chat leader of the night. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate you. Thank you to everybody else joining us here on the show tonight. I'll be back at some point. Monday, probably? I don't know. Monday? Is that it? Monday?
I don't know.
Raw?
You tell me.
I assume Monday after Raw. Yeah. After Raw. Okay? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all the things. So you know when I'm on. So you could see the shows and know what's going on.
Click, click.
Anything else, John? Are we done?
I think you covered everything pretty much.
Has Kanye album drop yet? Did it come out?
You didn't tweet about it yet, so I guess not.
I mean, I don't think... Holy shit, Rachel Ostovich beat Paige Van Zandt in the bare knuckle boxing fight? Oh, that's not good for fucking bare knuckle boxing. They paid Paige Van Zandt a ton of money. She's now 0-2. Ostovich was supposed to be the one to come in here and lose, I think, to Paige. But she did not. Wow. Okay. And I don't see a Kanye album. Apparently it's going to drop like by midnight. I read something recently that said it'll be here by midnight.
Yeah, but Eastern?
But I don't know. I have no idea.
Because doesn't he live on the West Coast?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to have to wait a bit, I think.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know, but I think it's going to come out soon, but we're just waiting. We're just waiting and waiting. But I heard it'll be out by midnight, but who fucking knows? So that's what I'm waiting for, Kanye's new album. And Nick Gage versus Chris Jericho. Those are the things that I want in my life right now. Nick Gage versus Chris Jericho, new Kanye West album. All right? And it's coming. At some point, it's coming. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you again real soon. I'll see you again on Monday after Raw.